Hey Tubanites, I just thought I'd post this video of the Moza Air 2 with the Blackmagic 6K cam using the tank of a lens Sigma 1835. I looked all over YouTube trying to find something that would help me out in getting this thing mounted up on the Moza Air 2. There's plenty of stuff out there about the 4K with the Metabones adapter, but the Metabones has that lens mount on the bottom, which really helps in moving the camera back to help balance that big heavy lens. I'm pretty sure the 6K would be a lot easier if you just put a prime on the front, but with that 1835 hanging way out there and then throw in the eye focus and all that, that's quite a bit of weight to swing around there in the pan mode for those gimbal motors to handle. So I don't know. I couldn't find anybody that had done it yet. So I thought after I got it done, I'd post this to hopes that helps somebody else. As you can see here, what the basic setup is the Moza Air 2 with the eye focus motor. I didn't use the sunshade on the lens to help save some weight out there. Also, I was able to get the eye focus motor just to grip the existing lens, and so it will focus without any problem having to use the motor grip band on there, which would just add more weight out there on the swing axis. So we got that set up. I went with the Rode Go wireless microphones to kind of keep the profile low, and that's linked in down here to the XLR input, and then also power coming off of the Moza off the front 16 volt. What it took to get this thing balanced was using the small rig offset plate, which you can kind of see back here. The way it worked was, for me, I took the main, what I will call the main carriage of the Moza, and it's set at about 4.5, so you can see it's slightly just back here. Sorry about the focus there, but it's, when you look at the setting here, it's right dialed in at about 4.5. And then the plate, which we'll call the Manfrotto plate, is moved all the way back against the stop. So there's a little stop pin in there, which is a safety catch, and it's right against that. Then I mounted the slide plate from small rig, the offset plate, as far back as I could get it on that Manfrotto plate that comes with the Moza Air. And that setup right there was enough to get the pitch axis balanced with all of this stuff swinging out there. You also can see that this setup is probably not ideal for roll access because all the weight's on one side. We got all the cables, we got the microphones, and we got the focus motor out there. Probably would help if I took another small rig adapter and mounted the focus motor on the other side to offset the microphones, or mounted the microphone somewhere. One of the things was that when I had the microphones on top in the pitch access, if you tried to go to an underslung mode, the microphone mounted over here on the full cage would hit the back rail here, so that didn't work. So I had to move it out front there. You can see too that for the roll or pan access, the cage is mounted just clearing there at about 1 millimeter. So that was enough to give, I didn't want it up against the gimbal motor housing, but that 1 millimeter distance there gives it enough movement, or clearance anyway, to get the thing balanced out in the roll axis. And it's pretty good. I mean, when I did the auto tune, of course I went through the auto tune twice. When I first did it, the gimbal for the pitch seemed to think that 0 was about 4 degrees above the horizon. So after I redid that, the thing shook a little bit extra, and I think it kind of calibrated the gyro, and now it sets pretty steady at 0 horizon. But it did come up with 100% on all 3 of the axes for the auto tune. So that means this whole setup, it is a full small rig cage, and it's pretty much set at about 5.6 pounds. So that's certainly well within the limits of the Moza Air 2's 9 pounds, but it's got a lot of weight way out there from the CG of the camera. It's swinging around in the pan mode, which also in the tilt axis makes it very difficult to balance. But once I got it all dialed in with those settings, and as also you can see here in the roll, or what they call the lean axis, it took pretty much everything it had on the arm there to get it to balance out in the tilt mode. So it did, but it was able to do that. Now I could probably improve on that, like I said, by moving the focus motor over on the other side of the lens, and that would probably help with the balance there in that tilt mode and maybe allow you to get a little more travel on the arm. But hey, it's good enough, it works. But I do recommend this small rig handle if you're ever going to try this setup, because that's a lot of weight out there to just hold, even if you use the tripod down below. That handle right there from Small Rig, it's about 28 bucks, I think, was well worth its weight in gold to get you able to pan, zoom, pitch up, pitch down, do all the stuff with two hands, and it just makes swinging this big setup a lot easier. I do believe that if you were just using a small prime like a 35, 50, whatever, that's a lighter lens, then you could probably get away with a lot less. I've seen some 6Ks on Mozas out there with just prime lenses and no problem with single hand operation. But with this setup, I just think it's a little bit better with the dual handle setup. So anyway, that is the Blackmagic 6K with the Sigma 1835 balanced and fully operational on a Moza Air 2.